Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and this is kind of news that most people are not going to be talking about, but I do know that this is obviously what Gavin Newsom has been doing. Um, so for the most part, it seems like Gavin Newsom has been playing politics with gasoline. But this is not too terribly surprising. Now, there's not a lot of articles really talking about this, so I try to break it down exactly what's going on, and I think even the comments are specifically talking about this as well. So we'll go over this and see exactly what's been going on here. California governor accused of playing politics on gasoline prices. A refiner, PBF Energy Incorporated, has rejected a request from California energy regulators to testify at a hearing next week on gasoline price spikes, citing Governor Gavin Newsom's politicization of this issue and failure to heed a year of warnings about the state's fuel supply. In a letter to Newsom, the refiner said it would provide only written comments to the California Energy Commission in light of the governor's approach to the issue and what the company called misleading information. About its third quarter earnings, refining is an extremely capital-intensive business, PBF said, and California's regulatory environment is putting future investment in refining and fuel manufacturing at risk in the state. Marathon Petroleum Corp. Also declined to testify, saying it had concerns about being able to share information amid federal antitrust laws. Phillips 66 cited the same concern in recommending testimony instead of the Western States Petroleum Association, which has volunteered to represent invited refiners and participate in the hearing. It's not surprising that oil companies want to dodge questions about their record profits while Californians pay the price at the pump, said Alex Stack, a Newsom spokesperson. Californians have been held hostage to the oil industry and the gas prices they charge us, and now that we're asking to answer basic questions, they won't show up. Now, here's one thing that I'm going to say about this. The thing is when you have Biden specifically go out and do severe damage to the oil industry, not trying to put in more pumps and stuff like that, closing the XL pipeline, and then begging the Israeli government for actual more oil, and they say no, including messing with all of Americans' lives, not just Californians, it begs to differ on exactly how much they're making. They're probably not making that much. The reason why that the oil prices are also so high is because of the actual gas tax as well Gavin Newsom has put onto the people. So when you have more gas tax, that costs more, so everything else is going to be more expensive for everybody involved in California. This is due to the gas tax. So it's not really a concern of showing them. And they did show you the actual amount of money that they've been accumulating. It's not going to be as much as you think it is, because if you tax the gas more, you're obviously going to be increasing in prices, which is what Joe Biden was been trying to do, because he's an idiot. He thinks, well, this is for stupid people, and I don't think any of my viewers are really stupid. But for stupid people that don't understand how math or how actually the economy works, etc., is that when you tax something, normally what ends up happening is that or you increase the price of something or whatever, or what have you, but normally taxes. If you tax something and you make it harder to tax, and depending on the taxes, either there's a couple of things that end up happening. The company ends up having to doing layoffs because they can't pay for the employees or whatever because they don't have enough money to do so, or they have to increase the prices to a certain point so they can make ends meet, so they can actually make some kind of profit. That's what's happening. And since Newsom's an idiot and he wants to put more gas prices, and obviously Joe Biden wants to make tax the gas companies more, well, obviously you're going to see more in actual increase of gas prices because of that, because they have to meet the actual reward of inflation and the amount of cost that's been happening, so that way they can make ends meet. So it kind of makes sense onto why they probably won't say things and stuff like that or what have you, because probably if they did, they'd probably just be taxed more. The planned hearing comes in amid persistently high gasoline prices in California, where the average for a gallon of unleaded gasoline was $5 on Wednesday, according to AAA. Newsom has singled out PBF while accusing oil companies of being greedy and making record high profits. No, Newsom, as I said before, you've been increasing the gas tax on them, so they have to increase their prices of oil or the gas so they can make ends meet. This is not really hard to understand, but of course, idiots will keep on following Newsom like rabid animals because they can't think or critically think at all or understand on how actual taxes work and how companies work and how they can make ends meet. It's just insane. This is for the same thing as well as if you have a company that decides to raise its prices way above the actual amount that normal things are, you'll probably have a company that's going to lower on it, and people that will go to normally a cheaper product if the product is just as good, if not better, than the higher price product. It's the same thing when we talk about Alienware with their computers. A lot of overpriced stuff that you should not ever have to consider because it's way overpriced and it's not bang for your buck. So it's better to go purchase something else. Normally what the majority of the Alienware sales are from ignorant people that don't know a thing about computers, so they get the ignorant people. They don't get the people that are more intelligent or more aware of the actual of what it costs to build a computer, etc. PBF is on the track to make nearly $3 billion in profits this year, according to the median of analyst estimates compiled by Bloomberg. But like other oil companies, the recent profits come after shortfalls during the pandemic when the demand cratered and refiners lost billions. For instance, PBF's $1.4 billion loss in 2020 erased all the previous annual gains accumulated since 2012 and put the company on the verge of bankruptcy. Now, the company said in its letter to Newsom is using 2022 earnings to pay down the exorbitant debt it took on to survive the pandemic lockdowns. In previous meetings and correspondence with California officials, PBF warned that by 2023 the state was on track to lose 20% of its 2019 gasoline production, even though demand is set to decline just 8%. Amid refinery closure, the halt of gasoline production at Phillips 66 facility, and challenged crude imports, with assistance from Garrison Fuentes Jr. And obviously, these are people that are going to talk about some of the comments are saying. Bloomberg coming down hard on far left, out of touch Newsom. When do you not give permits to move product? To help out the energy companies, what do you expect? Ad regulators coming down hard with carbon tax. You can expect high price for a long time to come. It's not surprising that oil companies want to dodge questions about the record profits, while Californians pay the price at the pump, said Alex Stack, a Newsom spokesperson. Californians have been held hostage to the oil industry and the gas prices they are charged us, and now that we're asking them to answer basic questions, they won't show up. Wrong. California politicians have passed mandate after mandate for the environmental program that is overseen by CARB. They want Californians using special fuels. Well, it's going to cost more to meet those requirements. Why aren't the politicians talking about that? Why aren't politicians talking about the increased fuel tax, all the other taxes to transport the fuel and store it? Let's talk about the fees California charges those who manufacture the fuels. All those fees are tacked onto the final price of every gallon purchased here in our state. They don't want to point the finger at themselves. When do you want to mandate after mandate? This is what happens. Apparently, only people in California can understand that. It's the exact same thing in the power industry there. I live in Nevada, and our rates are a third of water California pays. All the water's here at the same price as well. Yes, I agree. And the comments also seem to understand what's been going on in California and why Gavin Newsom is playing politics and stuff like that in this insanity type of way. Another thing as well is that Gavin Newsom also wants to have very few fossil fuels and a lot more electric vehicles, which, by the way, nobody can really buy. And two, it's not going to help anything because majority of people are going to be working on gasoline vehicles. And he wants to move to more of this type of stuff, which is obviously what he wants to do, and it doesn't seem to be going very well And we're going to be probably seeing a lot bigger gas price hike in the near future in California because of all these issues. But again, as I said, Californians get what they get. Unfortunately, I have to live under their rule for the time being until I move, but I digress. It seems that California is what it is, and they're going to be suffering for a long time. I think we're all going to be suffering for the next couple of years at the very least, especially if the Republicans don't really get their ass in gear and start fixing some of the problems that we see. Well, it is what it is. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share, and as always, take care.